Good morning, Americans. This is your favorite alien speaking on Friday, May 31st. It's going to be another scorcher day here in Georgia. Anyway, I wanted to do an open video today, make it an open letter to President Trump. So here it goes. Dear Mr. President, this is your favorite alien speaking. I've seen you got all your hands full here between being a bully and those dum-dums, I'm sorry, Democrats on your heels. So you're not going to have much time for anything. But here's the response to your so-called tariffs on Mexico that you're trying to do starting in June, 5% in June, July, August, until you hit 25%. If I were the president of Mexico, I would be laughing my head silly over there, saying, he's a bully and he doesn't understand his own country, which is what I'm saying, Mr. President. You know better than that. Mexico is just going to laugh at you because the importer has to pay the tax, and they're going to charge the American people. So the American people get stuck with that. They still want their whatever it is. You got Consumer Nation here. They don't care how much they have to pay for it as long as they get it. They don't want to make it here because it costs a lot of money, and they have to pay wages. But here's the thing. Why don't you do this? My friend Bubba has a new proposal in there for his party, the American Party, which is going to defeat you in 2020. And the proposal is to establish a number for the illegal aliens already here. They got till January 1st, 2021 to report to the ICE, the Department of Immigration and Customs Enforcement, and have either the State Department or Homeland Security or both issue them an ID number like you do Social Security numbers. With I for illegal alien, and this included Dreamers, by the way. And if they are working, they have to also report where they're working, and you do nothing about it. What this number does is, one, gets those illegal aliens as part of the U.S. Constitution, because now they're in the territory, and some of them are working, some of them are going to school, so they are, under the umbrella of the United States Constitution. You gave them a number there. You go to their employers if they're working and say, okay, how much are you paying them? And if they're not following federal law and state law on employment wages, well, then you hit them with a fine. You don't tell them, they can't fire the employee. They have to bring them up to the wage corresponding to the person that would be working there as a resident alien or citizen. Then they have to report it on 941 at whatever percentage you in Congress, if you stop your bickering, can come up with. And you establish a fund for illegal aliens and whatever medical or other expenses that fund has to cover it. So they pay for their own stuff. That way, some of their stuff is not being paid by us, the residents, or the citizens of this country. Number two, for any illegal alien coming in that does not have a number and you're deporting them, you send the bill of the deportation, the airfare, whatever it costs you to send them back to Mexico. You send them to the Mexican embassy and the Secretary General of the UN, because one of those two has to pay the bill. The problem that you're dealing with is international law, President Trump, and you don't understand diplomacy. Mexico will listen to the UN faster than it will you, because you are employing threats and you're employing bully tactics. But if the UN, you go over there and said, Mexico is violating international law, or El Salvador is violating international law because it's letting its people come out of its country with no documentation, and then Mexico, Guatemala, and the other countries that are going to are letting them in through their country with the same thing, the UN will probably go over there and say, ha ha ha, if you know how to deal with the UN, which you don't. John Bolton didn't when he was a member of the UN. He was a terrorist. So he doesn't understand what I'm talking about. Neither do you, I bet. But I bet you guys like William Barr, which is a strange AG, but he'll know. And your Secretary of State Pompeo. There's people in the Secretary of State's office that don't know exactly what I'm talking about, but you don't talk to them. So this is up to you, President Trump. I'll give you an out here. This is your favorite alien signing off.